Hello, friends. Welcome to another Stamp With Me Tuesday. Tonight, we are making a super easy fun fold card. It is an off-center gatefold, and it is horizontal instead of vertical. So I don't know, just a little bit different. A pretty basic, simple, fun fold card. But, there's always that little bit of twist to make it just something new and different. And we're going to be using some really fun stamps and papers tonight as well. If you are here and joining me live, leave me a comment. Let me know that you're watching and let me know where you are joining from. If you're watching the replay, special welcome to you. I love that you come later to watch the replay. So definitely let me know that you are here and let me know where you watched from too. I'd love to see that. I love to see all the different places that people are joining me from. If this is your first time joining me, I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to make beautiful handmade cards and gifts, just like the one we are going to make tonight. I hope that you will hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube so you always know when I go live. So hello, Lisa and Michelle and Shannon and Tanya and Jill. Oh my goodness, so many people here. And Vicki. All my friends are here. I'm so excited. I'm going to make my workspace look just a little bit bigger so we can start this project. And let's talk about the supplies I'm going to use first. So I'm going to be using the new Gingerbread Man stamp set. This does have coordinating dies, but I'm actually not using the dies at all tonight. I'm just using the stamp set. This is, just to give you a little sneak peek, this is one of the stamp sets that I'm going to be using for my Christmas series this year. So I did this last year and people really loved it. So I'm doing it again this year. I'm doing a 10-week Christmas series. I'm going to be sending out free tutorials each week via email. So if you're on my email list, you're going to get those. And if you want to stamp along, you can get a make and take kit ahead of time, or a take and make kit, as I'm calling it. And that registration is going to open tomorrow. So this is going to be one of the stamp sets we're using. And I'm really excited because it's a super cute one. And the projects are simply amazing. So tonight I'm going to be using the Timeless Plaid. This isn't even the whole pack because I'm running out of sheets of this paper because I love it so much. It is a 6x6 paper, and it's just all these different ginghams and plaids. One side is mostly like gingham and check, and then the other side is more of your multicolored plaids. So it's just a great paper, and I've used it for so many projects that I am running out of it. So all right, let's jump in and get started with what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do is show you how to score this, this cardstock to create the card. It is so easy. Y'all, it is so easy. So I am starting with a piece of cardstock. This is half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So it is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, right? 4 1/4 by 11 inches. We're going to do 2 score marks. I'm going to score it at 3 inches. I'm sorry, not 3 inches, 3.5 inches. I'm going to score it at 3.5 inches. And Lisa, you are right. I do need more of that paper. So I'm going to score that at 3.5 inches, and I'm going to score it at 9 inches. All right, 3.5 and 9 inches. You can't see it because it's going out of view, but I have my arm pulled out on my paper trimmer and pulled all the way over here till 9 inches. So 3.5 and 9 inches. That's it. And then I'm just going to take this. I'm going to fold the larger flap first, I think. I'm going to give it a good squish with my bone folder. And then I'm going to take the other flap, and I just like to, even though it's scored, I like to just kind of make sure it is really lining up in the center there and kind of hold it in place as best I can, and then give it a good squish down. And that's going to make our card base. So it's a gatefold, but it's off center. And then the rest of the basics. I'm showing you the basics first, and then we're going to go back and we're going to finish up this card and show you how the rest of it comes out. So I have a couple of pieces of this Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. These pieces are 3 1/4 by 4. All right, and I'm going to put one on the front here. So I use the same colors for both sides of mine. You could use different ones. I was planning to use the same gingham plaid on the inside of this card as well. I don't have any more of that piece. So I switched to this pecan pie. I don't know. Is it a checkerboard? I don't know. I switched to that. And then I have two pieces that are 1 3/4 inch by 4 inches. And this is just going to go on the smaller side. But what I was saying was you could use different pieces. So if these could all be the same pattern, they could all be different patterns. It's really kind of whatever look you want to come up with for this fun fold. So there we have that. And then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to put my other two pieces on the inside. And these are just going to go on the same flaps, just on the back of those flaps. So there's the first one. And that pecan pie really looks very nice on the crumb cake, I think. I almost changed the color scheme of this card altogether to use a different piece, but I decided not to because I wanted to use the embellishments that I'm using, and they weren't going to work with a different color scheme. So, all right, so I have that on the inside, and now we get to make the rest of it, right? So let me show you how I made the rest of this card. First of all, I want to give you a tip with this Gingerbread Man stamp set. The Gingerbread Man himself is very, very large. He is very large, like he is good size. And what you will notice is he is very flexible, all right? So it doesn't matter so much on this card because I'm not using the dies. But if you're using the dies, one of the things that can kind of help you get the Gingerbread Man shape that you want, that is the same as what it's supposed to be, is just kind of like throw it down, okay? It's going to go where it is supposed to go. And then take your clear block, and you have to use a really big one. This is the F block. That's how big this is. And just pick it up that way. And that's going to help you kind of keep it nice and symmetrical and less like out of shape, all right? So I have that on there. I'm going to grab some more cardstock. I'm going to use a piece. This is, I wrote this down too because I didn't think I would remember. This is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch. And I have some scrap paper here. So I'm going to pull out some scrap paper, and I'm going to use, if I can find it, I'm going to use my early espresso to stamp my Gingerbread Man on this. So I'm just going to ink him up. I'm not going to worry too much about getting all the way to his feet because his feet are not going to show. And I'm going to kind of stamp him so he is coming off the side. Just kind of at an angle. I just think he's cute like that. All right. So there we go. There's my little Gingerbread Man. Then I'm going to keep out my early espresso because I'm going to stamp his little face in early espresso. So we'll stamp that. Oh, so cute. And I'm going to put, well, actually, let's go ahead and stamp my sentiments as well. Those are going to be in early espresso. So I have another piece that is 3 inch by 1 inch. And I'm going to stamp the stamp that says sugar and spice and everything nice. That's going to go on there. Super cute. And then I have another square. This is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says Season's Eatings on this. So there we go. There's the Season's Eatings. Now I'm going to put away my early espresso. And I'm going to pull out some Pretty in Pink. Use some Pretty in Pink ink. And I'm going to stamp my little Gingerbread Man's cheekers. These little cheekers. And that's what these two big dots are. Okay. You can also use them for buttons if you want. There are other ones for buttons as well. But they work really well for little cheeks. And you can just stamp them right under his eyes, just like that. So cute. And then while I have the Pretty in Pink out, I'm going to come in on my Season's Eatings, and I'm going to take the gumdrops, and I'm going to stamp some gumdrops on here. I'm just going to kind of stamp them every which way, just like that. So we have some gumdrops. And then I have a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm just going to stamp a couple gumdrops down in the corner. This is going to go on the inside of my card. This is where you could sign your card. Isn't he adorable, Tanya? Yes. So cute. So stinking cute. All right. That's all the stamping. We do need to do just a little bit of coloring. So I'm going to pull back out my gingerbread man because he's kind of blah. And I'm just going to color him with some crumb cake, which isn't terribly exciting. But I'm going to start with the dark crumb cake and just add some in kind of around the edges of him and around, I don't know, around these little squiggles. Just to give it some sort of definition, something, because otherwise it's a really big crumb cake blob. So, I mean, it's still crumb cake, but at least there's something going on, right? All right, and then I'm going to use my light crumb cake, and I'm going to go over this whole thing with light crumb cake. Now, what I already know is that my light crumb cake is running out, so it's going to give me more lines than normal. And I did just order one of these today, but I kept forgetting. So that is why my light crumb cake is very, very worn out. But I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to color over this whole thing. And then I'll show you it. I'll show you what I did to help make these lines go away. Because it has lots of lines, and it's worn out. It's worn out. I mean, they're markers, right? Markers dry out. It's what they do. All right, so I colored that whole thing with crumb cake. I'm going to grab my color lifter, and I'm just going to go over the whole thing with the color lifter. And as that color lifter dries, it's going to help pull out some of those lines. It's just going to help it mush together a little bit more, and it'll be okay. Is it ideal? No, but it'll be okay. It'll work. While I wait for my new crumb cake marker, my new crumb cake Stampin' Blend to come in the mail. There we go. So there's our little gingerbread man. He's so cute. Love him. All right. So this was 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I have a piece. Oh, I forgot to get, I think I got out the pretty in pink and I forgot to cut it. All right. So this is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I cut a piece of crumb cake that is 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. And now I'm going to cut a piece of pretty in pink that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I think that's what I did. All right. And we're going to layer up this fun little gingerbread man. Now I'm not putting buttons on him because we're going to add buttons. You'll see. We're going to add some buttons. It's all good. I'm just going to use my green glue and put this together. Oh, there was one more little coloring thing I want to do. We'll do that in just a second. But I have some tips on putting this together. So, all right, we're just using green glue on both pieces. So I'm going to make the sentiments pop up with some dimensionals. So this one I'm just doing flat. Right. And then this is going to go on my card front. Okay, so it's going to go on here. Now, here is the tricky part. You want to make sure that you only glue it on half of it. I'm just going to glue it on this side. So what I do is I take it, I put it about where I want it, and then I flip it over top to bottom. Okay, and then I can know where to put my glue. Don't do it side to side. You have to do it top to bottom or it won't work. I'll put my glue over here. And then we'll glue it down. So we don't want to glue our card shut. That would be bad. So there we go. And then on the inside, I'm going to take it, and remember that little Season's Eatings? I have a piece of crumb cake that this is going to go on. And I just thought that this, like, I didn't really love how this transition was here. So I wanted to make it look a little bit more intentional. So I'm going to take this Season's Eatings and we're just going to add it to that side. And I feel like it just kind of makes it look, you know, like it's supposed to be there. You get those multicolors. You can see how I did that. And I did this on each of them. I'll show you how I did it a little bit different on each one. But there we go. And then our piece, remember we did the piece for the inside with the gumdrops. So we're going to add that to the inside. Now I have 2 more samples for you. So don't go anywhere because I have 2 more samples. But this one is so cute. I just love this one. And I tell you, the Christmas series is going to be amazing this year. So registration opens for that tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss it. All right. I want to do one more thing. I have the sugar and spice. I'm going to grab my light, pretty in pink Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to kind of go over, add a little bit of a shadow to the sugar and spice, just to kind of give it a little bit of color. Just seems, I don't know, it seemed a little bland. So I just added just a little bit of color over it just to give it kind of like, you know, a little something. You want gumdrops now, right? Like, give me some gumdrops. I just can't, like, every time I see this set, I just think of the gumdrop buttons, right? From, what is it, Shrek? Oh, my gumdrop buttons. All right, so we have the sugar and spice and everything nice. And I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals because everything, it's not homemade if it doesn't have dimensionals, right? So, but the dimensions are a little bit big. So I think I'm just going to like do it like that. We're going to put 3 kind of in a triangle. Normally I would probably put 5, but it's kind of a small piece. So this is just going to go right in here. So cute. And then we're going to add some embellishments. So we got to have some embellishments. And I'm going to use the frosted iridescent dots. These are really pretty. They're pink. They're pink and I think pool party and white and maybe balmy blue. I like the pink ones. They match pretty well. Now, where did my take your pick tool go? It ran away. I'm going to use the big ones and they're just going to be, of course it fell over on me. We'll pick it up this way. They're going to be its little gumdrop buttons. Just like that. This little guy also looks really cute with the peppermint embellishments that were such a hit last year. Remember, they couldn't keep them in stock. Everyone loved them. They look really cute on this dude too. So, all right. So there we go. There's our fun fold. Sugar and spice and everything nice. Season's eatings on the inside. Isn't that fun? So cute. All right. Let me show you my other samples. So we got one with the Gathering Moments stamp set or the Gathering Moments bundle. This is a brand new bundle and the Gathering Together designer series paper. Now check this out. What this bundle does is it will cut out this giant leaf, all right? And then it has a second die that you can put in that will punch out holes in the leaf. And you can take your linen thread, like I took the Early Espresso linen thread, and you can sew. I did a back stitch and I sewed on the veins. So super cute. It's definitely handmade, right? Like this is special. Thankful for you. I used some of the streaked dots on there. Oh. And then on the inside, you can see I cut another one. But since I used the kind of like busier pattern on the inside, I grabbed the kind of like the darker brown, the more subtle pattern. It does have a little bit of a pattern on there, but it's much more subtle. And I cut it that way and I put it over the back. So it covers up all of the back of that stitching, which really was not very pretty. So I covered that all up with just another die cut. So your friendship means the world to me. Isn't that pretty? So much fun. All right, so there's that one. And then I made a Christmas card too, because Christmas cards. This uses the new Pine Tree Trimmings stamp set with the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper. Now, there is a retreat coming up in November. November 1st is the Christmas Creative Escape online retreat. And we are going to be using, one of the stamp sets we're going to be using is the Pine Tree Trimmings. So definitely watch for that too. That registration is going to open in a few weeks. So watch for that. But on this designer series paper, it is black and white and gold. So I just took this piece, which is black and white. I took my blending brush and I added some lemon lime twist with a blending brush to the black. So those white trees became green, and I just love how that pops. And I added some of the black and gold baker's twine on there. Just really, really pretty. On the inside, I used a different pattern paper on the inside. I used one that's more white, and you can see it's white and black and gold. And I did take my lemon lime twist blend, and I just kind of went over some of the trees. So there's some trees that were kind of like more bold and some trees that were like just a sketchy tree. And I went over those to just add a little bit more of that lemon lime twist in there. So really cute, sweet, fun card as well. So those are my 3 cards for you tonight. Helen, I'm so glad. Lisa, you bet it wasn't pretty. Oh, the stitching on the back, it really wasn't. It really was not pretty. Thank you all. I am so glad that you like these cards. Like I said, make sure that you watch for registration to open tomorrow. There'll also be an email tomorrow morning with the free project sheet with all of the measurements for this fun fold card design. So you'll definitely want to get that as well. If you're not already on my email list, make sure you join my email list. The link is in the description to the video, or if you're on Facebook, it's in the Facebook there too, that you can join my email list and get all the things. So thank you all for joining me. I will see you next week. Next week, Tuesday, is going to be our September online card class, and we're going to be using the Charming Day bundle. And the cards are so pretty. You are going to love them. So make sure you come and check it out. I'll see you next week, Tuesday. Have a fabulous week.